Let's see. Yo. Give me a mic check real fast. Somebody in here? Somebody in here. Let me know if you can hear me. Yo, yo, can I get a mic check real fast? Sean, what's up? What's happening? What's happening, man? Appreciate you. All right. I'll let it build up for a quick second, man. I'm gonna get with y'all. Yeah, Sarah, I got a little something going on, man. I gotta go heavy. Really gotta get some more because there's a few colors that I don't have. But again, y'all check out myzodiacshirts.com, myzodiacshirts.com. I got a whole bunch of t-shirts that's coming in on the tees and whatnot, but I got a few of the hoodies as well. Even if you gotta, for me, you know what I mean? Because it's you know, it's me and my partners, Pharaoh's baby, you know what I mean? So I got a few colors. I got a couple of the same colors, you know what I mean? Because I just maxed out. All right, what up, Bruce? What up? What's happening with you, man? Yeah. All right. So is it 2:15? All right. So, um, let's look into the eighth house, the house of investments. Um, that's really my focus with it. The eighth house is a really a funny house, a deep house, very mystical. If you were born with energy over here, it deals with sex. It deals with joint partnerships. It's a very strong partner orientated type of energy, you know. And so the eighth house to me is the details after marriage. The seventh house is marriage in Libra. The eighth house is how do we function once we're married? What are the details to it? And so you get into these joint contractual agreements and you sharing money, and then it also starts to deal with um, the legacy or setting up the estate, right? It deals with setting up the estate. And so this is literally where you start to, you know, fill out your wills. Like, this is my last will and testament. This is how I want the money or my assets to be distributed and whatnot. All right. Hey, do me a favor. The quick 10 that's already here, do me a quick favor, hit the thumbs up button so we can kind of get on the radar and let all the other people who normally chime in with us, hopefully they can get, you know, they can see it. So do me a favor, everybody that's in, if you can, hit the thumbs up button. That way we can get a little bit more of our regular people to get up in here real fast. So this house is interesting, man. You know, I was born with three planets over here. It's called, anytime you got three planets or more in one sign or in one house, this is called a stellium. All right. And so appreciate you, Miss Love and Life. So you know, I got Mars over here. I got Mercury over here, and I got the moon over here, all in the eighth house. Now, my truth is, before I became aware of astrology and, you know, these type of sciences, my journey in the streets, one aspect, one chapter of it was dealing with strip club management, adult entertainment. And I was on the internet before. A lot of cats was on the internet. I had my own website back in 1999. Literally, 1999, I had a website. You know, my story is myblackhoney.com. And the goal was to showcase women, to really teach men through women, where it was women self-pleasing themselves. Don't judge me, all right? They're pleasing themselves with no man involved and no woman involved. Just themselves, okay? Because I felt like men had lost or never knew, bump lost. We didn't know in Western society. We didn't know the art of female orgasm. Never heard of it. It didn't even make sense to me. Even when I first heard it, thinking about it, it never made sense. Why would a woman potentially have orgasm? That's stupid because orgasm is come equals baby. So it was stupid, right? And this is eighth house. But this is how I'm sharing this story to show you how your unconscious self is really still in alignment with your higher self. It's just a matter of of how you do what you do. Okay. And so it's crazy because the older gentleman who used to work at the club, the strip club, I positioned him like, hey, listen, man, I got a website. I'm specializing in women and videos doing their thing by themselves. You work at the strip club. Let's partner. Koreans on the club, fat, light-skinned dude, older guy, then my father's age, managed the club. And he was like, all right, man, bet I want to meet with you. Call my secretary. Here it is. I'm thinking I'm this cat professional and everything. And the secretary was just as a girl. I wasn't even secretary. We laugh about it now. And it's so funny because Spirit is so funny because on his arm he has a tattoo and it's called Pickus because he was young and he spelled Pisces wrong. But he was like, man, let's call ourselves Scorpion Entertainment. Now this is 99. I'm 22 years old. So I don't know nothing about this science at all, okay? And so we're Scorpion Entertainment, which Scorpio is the 8th house where I got the most energy at, which is sex. And we both find ourselves in this sexual environment, strip club, naming ourselves after a cosmic thing, but totally don't even know it in the conscious self. The conscious self don't know nothing about this. So obviously it wasn't until years later that I started studying it and figured out my own energy, like, well, damn, I've been playing this out the whole time. This is why I say if you ever did that homework assignment where you can strip down your chart with the 10 planets, if you want to count your rising sign, that's fine as well, and understand what element, fire, air, earth, or water, has the most elements. I mean, what element has the most planets in it? That will start to denote your law of attraction. So for me, I'm predominantly air and fire, only one planet in earth and only one planet in water. And so I'm literally what we would call masculine heavy because the fire and the air signs are masculine. And so Venus in Aries, Moon in Aquarius, which is two masculine principles, air and fire. And I started looking back into my life of what kind of relationships I've been in, and majority of them was with fire women. It never failed. My Venus principle was kicking in because I was born with Venus in Aries. And so I'm telling you this to say, like, I went back and started looking. So anyway, this 8th house stellium started giving me some great insight in my unconscious self. I could see it through the sexual aspect. But then I also, because the 8th house deals with joint finances and investments, even at 22, before I stopped working and went to the strip club full time, I was working with Value City, the distribution channel, and you know, I was like with them. I used to go in the lunchroom. I was like, yo, let's invest our money. I've always been like this in my 20s. I'm like, yo, let's invest our money. Because even at 19, when I was working at the hospital, I was invested in, the hospitals don't have a 401k. I think it's like a 403b, which is the same setup, but when it's nonprofit, they can't call it a 401k basically. And so I'm like, yo, let's form an investment group. And back then, this is the advent of the internet where we're talking about, who was it? Like Ameritrade and Scottrade, and those people were out. And it was like, yeah, go ahead and set it up. And it was telling me to set it up where literally I could form the investment group. And these were grown people like, yeah, let's do it. Let's make some investments, basically on the Wall Street aspect. And again, I don't know nothing about this. I don't know nothing about eighth house, nothing. I'm just being me. But when I learn the science and then I go back and look into areas of my life of why I was interested in doing these certain things, it's right there in front of me. Okay? So what you should do is look at your chart, see what sign that you have, what sign do you have in the eighth house, okay? That's going to tell you how you like to potentially approach sex and approach joint finances, investments, okay? And I really want to play the investment angle, very important, because you got to get the money to grow. The name of the game, if you desire to be wealthy, is to create passive income, which means you don't physically have to go out and work and you're still getting paid. And there's only two things that's going to do that for you. Either A, you can set up a business, and I'm not talking about self-employed, I'm talking about a business, which means you have employees working. So sort of like a franchise in the sense where I don't have to go to work because I got a shift manager, I got a supervisor, a general manager, whatever the case may be. Things is, the dough is coming in without me having to be there. I don't never ever have to be there ever. Or you can get into the realm of investing where you put your money up and then your money is going inside of certain ventures and your money is coming back and bringing a return. Them the only two ways you can get passive income, okay? So the eighth house starts to give you insight on how to set that up, all right? And so again, if you have planets there, then that's going to denote to a degree, not even to a degree, that's going to denote how to tap into that particular area. So for me, my eighth house is ruled by late Capricorn, but majority of Aquarius is there. Then I got three planets over there. So I could either deal with career orientated things, older people, or if it's Aquarius, I need to utilize technology and I need to utilize friends, groups of people. And so it's more Aquarian for me because although the eighth house for me is Capricorn, I have three planets in the eighth house and they're all in Aquarius. So that energy comes out more dominant. And so therefore, my Mercury, my mind is going to be able to think about joint finances and be able to talk it and articulate it. Mars is going to be my passion. The moon is going to be my emotional commitment / hopefully a female energy in my life that's on the same page, okay? So I need to make sure that those three things, my passion, my mind, my articulation of the mind, and the female aspect in my life is on the same page with me when it comes to joint investments. Aquarius is going to mean I need to filter all of that inside of the group or the friendships. Aquarius rules technology as well. So technology investments could be good for me. So when I did, my web designer who created her own crypto called Guap Coin, I became the biggest holder inside of that community. You know what I mean? Guapped up over there, okay? Or when it comes to sharing this information with people like you, then it'd be easy to do because I can, Aquarius is technology and friendships, groups of people. So then let's put something together, i.e. now what's known as the Family Wealth Club over at theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. So let's collectively come together and start to build, okay? Because again, if you understand, you got to understand the rotation of this place. So although you have 12 houses in order, the seventh house is the house that's declining. That's why it's called the DC, because it marks the position of the western portion of the sky. Anytime something in the western portion of the sky is about to go down and you won't be able to see it anymore. Well, the eighth house is on its way down. It's declining. The energy in the eighth house is descending. It's going down. This is why you have to deal with your estates, your wills, your last will and testament, that kind of stuff, because that technically represents the dissension point. You see what I'm saying? Your light is dwindling. It's time to get ready to wrap this reality up. It's getting ready to die. I don't think you need to think about what's coming behind you. All right. And so again, the eighth house is going to give you some great insight on how to tap in. Okay. You can just go through the planets. You know what I mean? Again, if it's Mercury, then if it's the sun in the eighth, that's who you are. Your father can leave you some money. It'd be great to team up with masculine energy. Men could be a great source to you and great partners to you, depending on, assuming that you don't have no red lines, what we call harsh aspects, squares, and oppositions going to your natal sun. Okay, and so, but if it's the sun in the eighth, then you're definitely a power player, and you are a team orientated person. You absolutely need to do joint ventures with people. If it's the moon, then it's a woman that could be involved, and mommy can leave you some money as well. If it's Mercury, it's potentially your siblings and you could do business together, or people who feel like your brothers and sisters, and your mind is on joint finances and whatnot, and you can articulate it, write it, and speak it very well. If it's moving up, if it's Mars, then it's your passion, and you should have a strong drive to want to, really connect with people and whatnot. Be careful here because Mars carries confrontation because it likes to rumble. So then you can get into fights with people if you're in the wrong partnerships. Okay. Damn, TK, you deep over there. So Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Pluto. So then if you move over to Jupiter, oh snap, this is great. This is super duper luck. Your partnerships are just blessed. Either somebody is bringing the blessing to you or you're bringing a blessing to them, but Jupiter in the eighth can denote definitely a very successful investor. And also, if somebody died, they leave you a large amount of money because Jupiter is large and an eighth house is inheritance. So you just put them together, a large amount of money. Now, if you got Saturn in the eighth, I talked about this yesterday, what kind of prompted me to do this video is because Saturn in the eighth can denote some form of limitation. Your father, Saturn is usually father. Your father left you some money, but there's some type of obstacle and delay of you getting the money and whatnot. You see what I'm saying? So I always tell people we should handle our business anyway, but if you got Saturn connected to your eighth house, then you absolutely need to be on top of your business because that delay could be there. On the other side, it represents that you should be extremely conservative when it comes to other people's money. So in this free webinar this Sunday, I'm going to play a clip from, I may do a video commercial, but I'm going to play this clip from Magic Johnson when he sat down with LeBron James' business manager. And Magic was talking about how Doc, then the owner of the Lakers, they would go to Vegas, and then Doc would give Magic these chips to go gamble, and Magic would just put them in his pocket. Doc would give him some more, he'd just put them in his pocket. And at the end of the trip, Magic got 20, 30, 40,000 that Doc then gave him. He never gambled it. So when Doc was dying, 8th house Scorpio energy, when Doc was dying on his deathbed, he said, hey, he wanted to give word to Magic that he basically wanted to tell his goodbyes. And this shit, man, this shit is real. You know what I mean? It's like, like you dying and you got to put your affairs in order and you got to tell your people goodbye because you about to check up out of here. And so he told Magic, he said, man, here it is. I thought that I was doing something by taking you to Vegas and giving you money, and you was just putting it all away. He said, that's what I liked about you. That, when I told you to be on time, you was on time, you was early and so forth and whatnot. And Magic said, and this is Saturn in the 8th house. Magic was like, listen, Doc, I came from a place where I didn't have no money. I'm not gambling no money and giving away. I'm holding, because Saturn likes to hold. It's restriction. It's holding on. So Saturn in the 8th house gives you more of a conservative, responsible approach where you're not more jovial like Jupiter. Jupiter can overexpand and over leverage, where Saturn says, nope, I want to take my time and climb the mountaintop and move slow and steady. So Saturn in the eighth makes you a very responsible, successful, elder statesman type of person. That's the chairman of the board. Saturn in the eighth is definitely what you would call the chairman of the board type of energy. So if you got that connection, handle your business and make sure that your inheritance and stuff can be clear and free with no restrictions and hassles. And then at the same time, start taking responsible approaches to Saturn is long term, and start playing long term investments of what it's going to take to help you be successful. Okay. And so we move over next to Uranus. Uranus in the eighth is the weirdo. It's unexpected. So you could have unexpected ups and downs in your joint partnerships and investments and whatnot. That's with anything. Um, but it also demands that you have friends. You be with friends, a group that thinks differently and it doesn't suppress. And to a degree, it should have some type of humanitarian tone to it. And so it's the Red Cross, it's the Black Panther Party, it's the feed the children program type of thing, or maybe it's an investment that's not that, but a piece of the proceeds helps some type of humanitarian effort. Where you have Uranus in the eighth house, it wants you to use friends and humanity as the source, or at least can be a beneficiary of what you're doing in the realm of investing. Okay, you potentially give way for people who will steal from you, lie, and just get you, and you'll never see them. So if you got Neptune in the eighth, you're more prone, especially if you got squares and oppositions to it, you can be more prone for people who could run away with the bag. I tell people with Neptune connected to the eighth house and you're doing joint business deals, never give that person access to an amount which will hurt you. You see what I'm saying? So if you're comfortable with having XYZ and they got access to that and they took that, be okay with that because you carry this particular marker. So Neptune in the eighth on the most negative aspect could represent deception when it comes to investments and joint partnerships. All right. The high side of it is more spiritual, as we talked about yesterday with Neptune. Exactly, the blind spot. And so, Neptune could be more spiritual, more musical in the sense. I would say definitely, without a shadow of a doubt, trust that inner feeling, that inner knowing when it comes to investments, and potentially investing in music, investing in movies, playwrights and things of that nature could be more up your speed. You'd be surprised that local talent that's doing things, that's making money and whatnot. But I will figure out a way, if you are interested in that, how you can invest in the next Tyler Perry type of thing, or something that's a little bit more smaller, but it constantly brings in a nice return and whatnot. All right. Moving over to Pluto in the eighth. Pluto is the lord of the eighth house. It's at home. So therefore, it's just a double emphasis of eighth house energy, which is more of, again, death, rebirth, sex even again. You know what I mean? But Pluto is a power player. Pluto represents power. You see what I'm saying? And so with Pluto in the eighth, at some point in time, you know what I mean? I think the highest side of it is you have to claim your power in the realm of doing some type of joint investment venture with someone and whatnot, because you're a power player. Like literally, Pluto is power. So in the eighth house, investments that make you a power player in the realm of investing, or your partners are very powerful people. Very powerful people. All right, so that's Pluto in the eighth, and that's all the planets going through your eighth house. All right, yeah. So what do y'all got going on? Do anybody in here got anything in the eighth? My eighth house is split between Cap and Sag with 3 planets: Mercury and Cap. Nep is in both, right? So Mercury and Cap, Neptune, Jupiter and Sag. Wow. So Jupiter, Mercury, like that Jupiter in the eighth, man, makes you extremely beneficial and lucky when it comes to joint partnerships. So the sign necessarily, again, sometimes I don't pay attention to the sign. I just want to deal with the planet because that's the representative anyway. You know what I mean? And so, anybody else got anything in the eighth house? Yours truly, I got Neptune in the 10th at 9 degrees, Uranus in the 10th. I did Neptune yesterday, yours truly. Neptune in the 10th, Uranus in the 10th. Wow, man, that's like some type of. The 10th house is the house of authority. It's also the house of success, right? So Neptune again is really more psycho-spiritual or musical or mystical type of vibe, and Uranus wants you to think different, think outside of the box. Neptune also can represent hospitals, asylums, and the 10th house is career. So you can have some type of career at some type of institution. It could be a lockup institution type of vibe, or it could be more of a spiritual resort type of vibe. Uranus there wants you to think outside of the box when it comes to your career. So just make sure that you're doing something that really rewards self, because if you're frustrated, then that Uranus principle, the part of you, it just be a matter of an incident that can take place where you be like, I'm out of here. You got to be real careful with Uranus, because Uranus is a volcano. It's the part of you that suppresses, and then when you're tired of it, you rebel, because Uranus is the rebel. And so the rebel only rebels when it says, yo, this shit no longer serves me. And so now it's time to cut up. And so you have to make sure that wherever Uranus is placed, that area of your life, especially the house, that area of your life is one of your own free will and accord, one that you can, that you can identify with, and it gives you that Uranus. See, Uranus rules Aquarius, which is the unique individual. And so you got to have this little room of space for yourself. So make sure when it comes to career that you're able to do just that. All right. What up, Anwar? What's good? Neptune in the 8th. Yeah, man. So Neptune in the 8th again. Musical, mystical. I would invest in movies. I would invest in people that's doing playwright. I would invest in poetry. I would invest in the artistic vision of people. Because Neptune is really more imaginative and spiritual as well. You know what I mean? I would invest in spiritual retreat centers, whether it's for yourself, but also at the same time how you can get a financial return out of it, because the 8th house wants to expand your finances by hooking up with people and stuff. And so that's how I will work Neptune in the 8th. So the highest vibe of Mars, see, Mars is considered to be exalted in Capricorn. So exalted simply meaning Mars is said to be very, very favorable when it's in Capricorn. So Capricorn is success and career orientation, and Mars is just the passion. Mars traditionally rules the 8th house when it's a co-ruler of Scorpio. So therefore Mars is in a very strong placement position-wise in the sky, which is called the house, and in the zodiac sign Capricorn. So this is a double emphasis of strong energy right here. So now this just means it should be more easy for you to tap into all of the 8th house qualities. So again, Mars here is going in Cap. It's going to be like, listen, your dad could leave you some money because Capricorn is a father type of energy. But again, that's why I said watch out for Mars, because Mars could bring some type of fight. But the absolute highest is you should be extremely passionate about whatever your career endeavors are, and making sure that investments around that pays off. You are definitely the prime candidate. Like if you work a regular job or a career and you're not necessarily an entrepreneur, then you are the type that needs to max out your 401k contribution type of thing, because it's career and investments that's taking place. But it also represents you being passionate and can hook up with older people that could help you out Or see, it's tricky because Capricorn is older people, but then Mars is the young gunner, and so it's kind of like a male energy, both of them, to a degree. So it's something about being in a partnership with a male that can help you out. Mars in the eighth too. On a whole nother note, as a woman, you could probably like older men, or you are an older person than you're older than the person that you're with. When Capricorn is connected to the seventh and eighth house, because it's partnerships, one is marriage and one is sex, right? Then Capricorn is old daddy. So then that's like, oh, okay, then you the sugar daddy. But if it's a woman, then it could be you the sugar mama type of feel and whatnot when it comes to relationship things and whatnot. So, and again, see, like, again, like when I was 17, I was in a relationship with someone that was 34. Capricorn on the seventh house cusp. Somewhere along my journey, I would be with a much older person who could technically be considered to be my mother. She had a son that was 1 year older than me at the time. You see what I'm saying? And so Capricorn connected to your seventh and eighth could denote that sugar daddy or what we call sugar mama type of vibe as well. But I will tap into that by identifying career moves, Capricorn, investments, and being super duper passionate because Mars wants to go get it and get it done. You know what I mean? What we at on time here? 2:45. So I'll rock out with y'all about 5 more minutes before I go pick up the boy. Um. All right. So John Doe, good question. 13 signs or 12 signs? I've touched this subject before. 12 for me. Reason being is when you look back at some of the older records, um, the records of Timbuktu, they was using 12 signs. And those cats were some heavy astronomers in the game. Moorish Spain, 12 signs. Even when you look at the temple of Dendera, when you look at the zodiac in Dendera, what people try to say as the 13th sign as Ophiuchus, that constellation sits above the zodiac ecliptic belt and whatnot. So it sits slightly higher. And truth be told, that sign Ophiuchus is the polar opposite of Orion. Orion sits a little lower than the ecliptic. So it is the polar opposite of Orion. And so again, you can look at the zodiac belt Dendera Google image, and you will see the Libra scales. You're going to see the Scorpion, and then you're going to see Sagittarius, and you will see the boat of Ra. The boat of Ra, the man with on the serpent. The boat is actually a serpent. Ophiuchus is the guy holding the serpent. You would notice that that constellation sits slightly up higher than the regular zodiac signs in the belt. Okay. Um, you can do a calendar of 13 months, 20 days each. You can do a calendar any way you want to. That's a cultural thing based upon whatever you decide to measure. So you can have a lunar calendar, which is 13 full moons in a year, or sometimes it's 13 new moons and 12 full, or the opposite, 12 new and 13 full. So it depends on which you are observing. You got a right to make any kind of calendar you want to, because it's all based upon what you're observing from this point, starting point, to this end point. You see what I'm saying? And that's totally up to us. We got full autonomy to do that. Um, when I look inside of the human skull, you have 12 cranial nerves. When you look at the human bodily systems, you have 12 systems. I talked about that yesterday, including your immune system. So you have 12 bodily systems without a shadow of a doubt. Um, you know, 12 is the biggest number on the wall clock in a sense. It's just 12 inches on a ruler. Why the number 12, and why the word ruler and whatnot? Why the 12th grade? And you start off in elementary school to learn the elements, the basics. And then when you get off from the 12th grade, you graduate and go off to the universe. as they say, university. But once you leave the 12th grade to understand the 12th science, you complete and you should have a universal knowledge of what's taking place here. So when I look back, even with some of the coldest astronomers, Benjamin Banneker, he was definitely using 12 signs, and he was definitely using tropical system. He wasn't using sidereal system. When I look back into the records of Timbuktu and look at those manuscripts, they was using 12. Um, when you look at, even 13, 13 is the moon. 13 is, again, because in what we would call a year, you would have 13 new moons or 12 full moons or vice versa. You never have 13 and 13 within a regular 365 day year and whatnot. All right, my bad, y'all. So it's 12. I rock with 12, man. All right, so I gotta get ready. Let me see. Pooh, hope you don't. What you say? Wait, what you say? Gail, what you say? My baby Nick, nah. Pooh, hope you don't mind. Who you baby? I'm missing that. That went over my head. Oh, Sarah Jane, you getting your sugar daddy? Hey man, do what you gotta do. JEL Mobile Detailing Pro location, February 4th. Um, bro, if you gotta come with your data already, you gotta come with your data already. You only got the part of fortune in the eighth, John Doe. That's cool. The part of fortune is a lot, sort of like a Jupiter field. That's where you're lucky at and whatnot. Oh, nickname is Pooh. Okay, so that's where you're lucky at. So being involved inside of partnerships, man. Gemini, talking with people. Gemini's the networker, communication, talking. So talking with people, networking with people in the realm of investments. That's where you're fortunate at. The part of fortune is like a baby Jupiter. All right. So I just wanted to build with y'all real fast, man. I see 2 o'clock is the prime time. So if I start doing these lives, subscribe, share with a friend. I'm gonna try to do 2 p.m. Me and Minister Jew gonna do something on Facebook tomorrow. But hey, listen, I got a free webinar this Sunday. Only thing you got to do is just drop your email off over at the Prosperity Investment Group. The Prosperity Investment Group. Click on newsletter, drop your email off. We're gonna talk about family wealth. Very important. You can go, Erica. I'm at myastrologycoach.com. Myastrologycoach.com. Hit the shop tab. You will see it. If you if you own digital media, Amazon, iTunes, stuff like that, then type in Inner Peace Lighthouse and you'll see some stuff that I did. The Zodiac Made Easy, Planets in Harmony as well. Also got a book on Amazon called Spiritual Wisdom for the 21st Century. But if you're on a digital media and you want to hear, then you want to type in Planets in Harmony. And then you also want to do with, what's the other one? The Zodiac Made Easy. And they're going to be under the Inner Peace Lighthouse. All right. So that's for your digital stuff. But again, get to the free webinar on Sunday. You want to go to theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com. Go to newsletter, drop in on us. Because we're going to talk about some very serious stuff with this money and poverty and how black income is projected to hit the 0 mark in the year 2053. That each year we're losing money as far as income. We're losing. And you only need to do one deal. And I'm going to show you the vehicle that you need to be in. One deal. Each year, if you can just hit the average, one deal will automatically make you the #1 income producing race on the entire earth, literally inside the United States, for real. This ain't no super duper bogus stuff. You just need to really go find a damn house and flip one house. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna show you the math in the webinar. Find a house, flip a house. The average house flip is $64,000. Okay. Actually 66.4 to be exact right now. 66.4. The average median income for black America is a little under 40,000. Okay? It's like 39 and some change, a little under 40. At the top, the Asians are at like 81. If you take one house at 64 plus your 40, you about like at 84,000. You would be #1 if you can just get the average of one property. Just one property a year. That's it. Just freaking one. That's all you need. One. Could you imagine having an extra 60-something thousand dollars for a whole year, which comes out to be a little over $5,533 a month? An extra $5,000 every single month. You know what that would feel like for you? If I gave you $5,000 every single month, you would feel like you was rich because you would have some freedom to do a whole lot of stuff. All right? And that's what I want to talk about, and that's what we're going to show. So get over there, theprosperityinvestmentgroup.com, sign up on the newsletter, and I'll see you Sunday at 8 p.m., all right, for the free webinar. Peace.